Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my eyeshadow palette collection. We're going to be doing a little bit of decluttering, but I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know that I'm probably going to keep most of them because I love eyeshadow palettes. But before we get into that, I post beauty videos every Monday and Friday, so feel free to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that way you will be notified whenever I post. As I mentioned, I post every Monday and Friday. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out and I would greatly appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get into the eyeshadow palettes. So before we get into the eyeshadow palettes, I'm trying a little bit of a different setup today because I'm trying to get the lighting a little bit better. It's really overcast today, but also I'm closer to the window so you can see the couch in the background and all the other good stuff. I like sitting on that couch to film, but it's a little further away from the window. So hopefully this will allow the lighting to be better in the videos. We will see. If you like it, you know, let me know in the comments or give it a thumbs up. So I'm gonna try not to go like too in depth with all of these eyeshadow palettes, but eyeshadow is my favorite, probably one of my favorite at least parts of doing makeup. I love the different ones and I love collecting different ones. I love eyeshadow. So the first one that I want to talk about is like, I think this was my first high-end eyeshadow palette. This is the original Naked palette from Urban Decay, and I kept it in this box because I don't know if they changed the packaging. But anyway, the packaging is actually kind of velvet packaging, and it's really sad because I know that this is discontinued. I'm pretty sure last I saw, but then I did just see on the on the Ulta website, and I thought I still saw it there, so maybe you can still get this. It comes with a brush, and then also I believe you can see that I definitely use these colors a lot, especially like this color right here. I used this eyeshadow palette a lot and I loved it for sure. This was my first high-end one. I got this, I remember, with Christmas money, I think maybe 3 Christmases ago. I've had this for a while. I don't use it as much anymore, but I definitely, at least right now, like I'm not gonna get rid of this. This is a great palette. I love Urban Decay, and this was one of my first like high-end makeup products. So of course I'm not gonna get rid of it. And I still keep it in this little box because I don't know, I've always stored it like this, so why change it? Next up, since we are talking about Urban Decay Naked palettes, I also have the Naked Heat palette, which I've mentioned. This is one of my favorite palettes. This is actually the palette that I used on my eyes today, except for this inner corner color is the Tarte shade in the shade Top Yacht. I've mentioned that several times. I love that color. But I got this in Christmas 2017, I believe. The inside looks like this. I love warm-toned eyeshadows and warm-toned looks in general. So of course this is one of my favorites and I love this palette. So I'm looking around at like the eyeshadow palettes in front of me, and I would say up until 2018, I didn't really have too many like high-end makeup palettes or eyeshadow palettes. I would say that these were like the 2 primary ones that I used. I did have like the BH Cosmetics and stuff like that, but I didn't really use that. I've got rid of that a while ago. I mentioned those products in the makeup since I've had it since high school. I will make sure I leave that down below. It's kind of an interesting video, I think. But up until last year, I would say I didn't really have too many eyeshadow palettes, and then I just kind of like started collecting them more. And then I started my channel as well, so like I feel like I could justify it, like, oh, I can do an eyeshadow look on this one. But anyway, I love collecting makeup, so that's kind of my explanation on why I have these different ones. And also I've gotten them as gifts as well. So the next one that I want to talk about, I think I got last year. It's just this little mini palette. I think this was only like $29, but whenever I show you the inside, like this was my jam, clearly. Like these are my shades, especially the color, this color right here. Like I wish I could find a dupe for this or this color like individually, because this was a great shimmery color for like all over the lid. It kind of had like a little bit of a pink undertone, but it was still, I would say, kind of warm toned as well. Beautiful. And I also love purple eyeshadow right here, and I hit pan on 4 of these shades, and I definitely, you know, used the other ones as well. So I would say that this is a well-loved palette for sure. This is the Smashbox Cover Shot Golden Hour eye palette. Very, very pretty. And then I got this eyeshadow palette as a birthday present a couple years ago from Ulta, and it is really pretty, but I just have similar shades. Like even I feel like in these 2 palettes alone, I have similar shades. So if I wanted to create a look with that, I just don't find myself reaching for this very much. So I think I am going to gift this to someone else. Hopefully they will get some use out of it. Next up we have one of my favorite palettes, my current favorite palette. And this also reminds me, a friend of mine the other day asked me, you know, like how many eyeshadow palettes I have or something along those lines. And I didn't even count these up beforehand. I'll mention that at some point in this video. And she said, you know, like, how do you use like the different ones and stuff like that? Like, how do you use all of them? And I guess my answer for that now would at least be like, whenever I get something new, it's like my favorite and I use it almost every single day. And then I don't use it as much, but it doesn't mean that I never use it again. That's just kind of like how I use things. So this I got, I think like right before Christmas, I bought this for myself because it was on sale. And I have used this, like, I mean, I branched out obviously today, but like whenever I first got this, like I'll use this like every day or almost every day. So that's kind of how I use my other palettes. And then I kind of like look around sometimes and try to like branch out and use the other ones and show them some love as well. So I still do use my other palettes, but that's just kind of like how I use my eyeshadow palettes. Anyway, so this is the Dose of Colors Friendication palette. This is the Desi and Katie collaboration. I've mentioned this in several videos and in my most recent favorites as well. I think it's beautiful. I love this eyeshadow palette very, very much. I would highly recommend it if you haven't tried it out. And especially the matte shades are so creamy. I just, oh, this is such a pretty palette. Love it. Next up, I got, well, okay, we'll go in this order. I have the Makeup Revolution, the Emily Edit palette. I've used this in looks as well. I did just use this in my Valentine's look, and this is only $20. Has a lot of shades and a lot of different colors as well. I love this because I love warm toned, like reddish and plum shades, which they have those in here, but they also have different options as well. So it kind of gives me a wider range of colors and I can create a lot of different looks. And I especially love this shade Prayer right here as a transition shade. I think it's like beautiful. Love this palette. So with this, I got this as a free gift. I don't think that this can be sold separately. This is the Revolution Fiercest Fire palette. I did a makeup look, Sunset Eyes, I believe, and that seems to do pretty well. So if you didn't see that tutorial, even though you can't find this individually, I believe that these colors, like you can find, you know, similar ones in different palettes. Anyway, I'll leave that eyeshadow look down below in the description box. You should check it out. I think it's really, really pretty. As we can see, a theme here, warm toned and like maroon slash like sunset kind of. Anyway, this is pretty, so obviously I will be keeping this as well, and that came with this purchase. Why did I say that so weird? Next up, this is a limited edition palette that I got. This is the I Want Candy palette. It was a collaboration with Candy Johnson. I don't use this as much anymore, but I do still want to keep it because especially like these orange shades over here, I find are really, really pretty. I used these the other day because I hadn't used this palette in a while, so we'll keep this. Next up, this is a Christmas present that I got from one of my friends. This is the Mean Girls palette. I love Mean Girls. It's one of my favorite movies. Obviously, I will be keeping this. I also did an eyeshadow look using this palette as well. The names are super fun. They're like inspired from the movie. Like this is just a really, really fun palette. Next up, we have this Tarte palette that I got in FabFitFun, I believe. So I was kind of evaluating my eyeshadow palettes and I almost like started to like, oh, I'll gift these and stuff like that. But then I thought this would make a good video. All that being said, I think I am going to give this to a friend as well. It's really, really good quality. I mean, Tarte is like one of my favorite brands. I've mentioned that too. I just haven't used it in so long, and they are basic colors, or at least that colors that I have dupes for, that I think that one of my friends can get some use out of this. Hopefully, they're great quality shadows, especially this color right here, Respect. Like it's similar to the purple color that I have in my Smashbox palette as well. So like if I wanted a deep plum color, you know, I have this, and I also have a single eyeshadow that is similar to this as well. So just because I think that somebody else can get some use out of this, I think I will be gifting this. But this is one of my like first tutorials that I posted on YouTube, so it's kind of sad getting rid of it for that aspect, but I just don't really think that I'm going to use it much anymore. So hopefully somebody else can get better and like more use out of this, so I will be giving this away to one of my friends. Next up, this is the Dream Street palette that I actually got from one of my friends because she didn't use it very much, and I love this. I will definitely be keeping it. I think that they're great quality shadows, and also this is a really affordable palette as well. If you haven't tried it out, You do have like a lot of neutrals, as you can see here, but you have like some teals, some fun colors, and then this really fun red color as well. I do have an eyeshadow look, at least one where I solely used this, and I think I've used this in 2 looks because this is a really, really good palette, and it also has some really good shimmery colors, I find. So this is a great palette. This is the Dream Street palette from ColourPop. This was the Kathleen Lights collaboration. I thought that this video was gonna be a lot longer because I thought I was gonna talk about each palette for like 5 minutes, because I know my lipstick decluttering video, which if you haven't seen that, I will leave it linked down below. That video was like forever long because I went into I talked about all those lipsticks, but I think that we're doing pretty good on time. Next up, we have this Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I did use this in a tutorial as well, but I think I will be gifting this as well to one of my friends just because I haven't used it in so long. It is really, really pretty, and you have some unique colors in it, but I just don't think that I will be using it anymore. So I want to give this to one of my friends. So these are the 3 palettes that I'm going to be getting rid of. So I mean, it is kind of a declutter, but it's mostly like a collection video, you know what I'm saying? Like showing you my different eyeshadow palettes. Last up, I think that this is the last one. This is the Tarte Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust palette. This one, I was talking about how I mostly got like new eyeshadow palettes in 2018. This one, it took me a long time to decide to buy it because I think it was $39. I might have gotten it on sale. Usually high-end makeup like this, I do try to get on sale. And I almost didn't get it, but like I had literally thought about this for months, and I eventually did decide to get it, mostly because this shade right here is so unique. It's like hot pink, but also orange, and I didn't have anything else like it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the duochrome in it, but it's really, really, really pretty. So for this alone, like I had to get this palette, but also you do have like some plums in here and like neutral shades. You know, this shade is really pretty as well in the inner corner. So I'm really glad that I did decide to get this, and I would recommend this as well. It says that it's limited edition, but last I checked, it was still on the Tarte website. So you might still be able to pick it up if you've been thinking about this one. I really, really recommend it. You get a lot of different, you know, color options as well, and especially the shimmery colors I find are very, very good. But then also you get some matte options in here as well. And I would recommend this palette if you were thinking about it. Just counted up, and I guess I was thinking I had more palettes than I actually did, but maybe it's because I literally like used the same ones for several days. But anyway, so I'm keeping 10 and I'm getting rid of 3. So I had 13 eyeshadow palettes, what I guess some people might consider as a lot, but you know, I love doing makeup and I have a beauty channel, and I just love eyeshadow in general. So I don't think that that's too much, and 10 I feel like is definitely like a doable number to keep. So I feel pretty pleased with this. I also did kind of give you an overview of the palettes as well, so I hope that you found that helpful at least a little bit if you were thinking about getting one or any of these palettes. You know, I hope that this kind of gave you a brief description on what I think about it. But just because I feel like swatches will be helpful, I don't know. I've swatched these in videos before, but like especially the Kathleen Lights one, I wanted to swatch like these shimmery colors because they're beautiful, like that, so pretty. But also the mattes are really good as well. I'll swatch this deep brown color. I've used this in eyeshadow looks before as well, so I think that, you know, I definitely recommend this if you wanted to see some swatches. Also the Urban Decay Naked Heat one, which is another one of my favorites. I will swatch this shade right here, Scorched, which is a great reddish shade. Very, very pretty. So, I mean, that's just beautiful. I highly recommend this palette if you were thinking about it. I've also swatched this in videos before as well, but maybe you haven't seen that one. But like this blue is actually duochrome. It is a blue and purple. So, so pretty. I will swatch that right here. And this is also a unique shade. Like normally I don't, you know, use this on eyeshadow looks, but it's very, very, very pretty. So I know I don't have swatches from all of the palettes, but as I mentioned, I feel like I have a pretty good overview of them at least. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, feel free to subscribe. As I mentioned, I post beauty videos every Monday and Friday. Thanks again for watching, and if you have any other video ideas, let me know in the description box, not in the description box, in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video.